and they brought him to the TV, and he just grabbed the TV like this, took it outside, and whoosh, destroyed it in the backyard. Why? Because if he left it alive, maybe the neighbors will take it the next day and they will disobey Allah with it. So it was necessary that the TV was destroyed. And since then, that sister was, the household altogether was much better. There was time for Quran, time for learning, time for speaking with each other, spending time, because that shaitan has left. And really, I personally consider the TV, unless you're watching strictly Islamic stuff, a shaitan. He's a shaitan in your house, imposing his methodology and ideology upon you and your children. You don't control him, like you control the internet to some extent. You may go to a good website, you may go to a bad website, you still have the pop-up ads, but you can even disable that. But when it comes to the TV, you may be watching a football game, and next thing you know, there's a naked woman walking across the TV screen because of some commercial or advertisement that you didn't ask for. So then you're going to lower the gaze, right? How often do people lower the gaze when they see a woman on TV? Please, and you try to tell this to your children. So really, you have the entertainment at home. Get away. We're not saying don't be entertained. We're not being extreme. We're not saying, everybody sits at home like this. The father is just straight face. He said, don't smile. Why? We're following the sunnah. Say, man, come on. That's not what we're trying to say. Don't live the backward life like the Amish people. Enjoy life, but within the halal, within reason. Entertainment with it. Take the children to the park. Let them have some fun. Take them to any place that is halal. They may watch some channels, if you do have a TV, some lawful channels that have some good teachings of the sunnah. ما في مشكلة. But we're talking about the other aspect of things. So have entertainment, but within limitation. And be careful of that entertainment containing haram. Otherwise, you're trying to teach, and the society is trying to teach, and usually you will lose. You will lose. Because the influence that they have is much stronger than the influence you may have. Because you're busy. So one way, practical solution, as the sister did, throw away the entertainment. And if people try to turn off this TV for one day, and try to live a family life, you will see the difference in the quality of life in the household. Even the internet sometimes is so distracting that we don't have time for our children. The children need some attention. Say, I'm busy. How often are we busy? May Allah forgive us for our shortcomings. I'm not excluding myself from this. So the internet is, even if you misuse it, it becomes extreme. So anything that you do too much of is no good. Similarly, entertainment, khali walgi. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What are the candidates for doing masih on socks while doing ablution? Conditions, I'm sorry. The first condition is that you must be in the state of major purity. If you had been in the state of major impurity, then you made ghusl. So that's first. If you were in the state of major impurity. If not, then you need to be in the state of wudu. You make wudu, the full wudu with the washing of the feet. Then you put on your socks. Now, from the socks, the scholars have differed about the thickness of the socks. Some of them said they must be thick enough where it is not see-through, you do not see your skin. And some of them said this is not necessary. Some of them said if there are holes in it, then it is not valid to wipe over them. Some of them said we cannot imagine the companions, all of them having socks that did not have any holes in it. They were not, buying Lacoste or anything like that. They lived a rough life, so we assumed that they had holes in their socks, and it was still okay for them to wipe over them. The most sound position, as far as I know from what the scholars have mentioned, is that it doesn't matter what kind of sock it is. As long as it is a sock that you put on your feet and it goes above the ankles, according to the more correct position, it goes above the ankles, then from the moment you put on these socks or khuffayn, if they are leather, you may wipe over them for the duration of 24 hours if you are a resident, or 72 hours or 3 days and 3 nights if you are a traveler. But when does it begin? Not as many people think. The more correct opinion is that from the first time you wipe over them, this is when you start counting the 24 hours. Not from the time you put them on. Meaning you wake up for Fajr at 4:30. You make wudu. You put on your socks. You don't start counting the 24 hours from the moment you put on your socks. Rather, you may put them on, go to Salat al-Fajr, go to work afterwards, and then you break your wudu at 10 o'clock. You renew your wudu before Dhuhr in 10 minutes. At 12:10. At that particular time, from the first time you wipe over the socks, you begin counting the 24 hours. طيب? So these are the conditions. It must be in a state of purity, and then you wipe for 24 hours, and afterwards you must take them off and make wudu again by washing your feet, and then you may put them back on. If you're traveling, then you have 3 days and 3 nights. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Please say the middle path of the straight path is take from religion. What is easy and affordable to him, and other path is extreme. Actually, a sister, this is from a sister, the next lecture inshallah, which is scheduled to be not the coming Monday, alhamdulillah we're able to make a little gap, the following Monday, the 27th, I believe it will be the 27th of April, the lecture will be about strictly following the sunnah versus the religion is easy. Strictly following the sunnah versus the religion is easy. How do we understand which is which? So that is a lecture, and we will just postpone that till that time in Allah Azza wa Jalla if all of us remain alive. It's Rahmat, then H-U-L-A-L-L-A-H. Rahmatullah, I guess, and the other one is Rahimahullah. Oh, maybe you mean when we speak of the companion, whether you say Rahmatullah alayhi or Rahimahullah. If this is the case, then both are correct. Rahimahullah means may Allah have mercy on him. Rahmatullah alayhi is just changing of the wording. May the mercy of Allah be upon him. Either way, the meaning is the same. Okay, so the ha in Rahimahullah is in reference to the one being spoken about. And Rahmah here is an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with the ta' marbuta. It's the same word with the variation of the grammar only. And so if this is what you meant, both are correct. You can say Rahmatullahi alayhi or Rahimahullahu ta'ala. Wallahu a'lam. We would love to follow the salaf who are not with us anymore. But every ulama explains and strengthens his argument with a hadith. So what is a common man supposed to do if he wants to follow the right path but is confused whom to follow? If the Prophet ﷺ showed us one straight path. Why do the ulama differ? Well, the ulama differ because first the ulama differ in terms of the caliber of the ulama. Yani the alim himself, whether he's upon the sunnah or not. Because you have ulama who are not upon the sunnah. Readily available among the Muslim ummah, telling you to celebrate innovations, telling you to do things that are not part of the sunnah, and they do this outwardly, and they propagate that. So these, it's obvious that, we have been given understanding and intellect to distinguish between the truth and the falsehood. There are signs that you can tell in the alim. Now, among the ulama who are upon this right understanding, they differed because it was the nature of the deen that there are issues that people may differ about in terms of understanding. And this goes all the way back to the companions. So even in the difference of the scholars, they are actually going back to the difference, they are imitating the companions who also differ. But did that difference cause their hearts to differ? No. Did that difference make them boycott one another? No. Did that difference cause fitna among them? No. Rather, their difference was in interpreting a particular hadith or understanding it in a particular context. So you will find that some of them will do something in this fashion, and the other will do in another fashion. And the Prophet ﷺ already gave us the outcome. He said that if the person who has knowledge, if he exerts himself and he gets it right, he will get 2 rewards. And if he gets it wrong, he will get 1 reward. So even if the alim makes a mistake, he will still be rewarded by Allah. There are a list of the ulama that we can refer to present in our comment in today, and those who have preceded us. I intended not to mention names intentionally because I don't want to cause any tribulations or anything of this nature. But obviously, if you wish, you can email me, and I can email you some of the scholars that are reliable in terms of you seeking knowledge from, whether from the old early generations, like we know from Imam Shafi'i, the 4 A'imma, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Sufyan al-Thawri, al-Awza'i, Hasan al-Basri, Ikrimah, and all those companions and the Tabi'een. And then in Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, Imam al-Dhahabi, Ibn Kathir, these ulama, and those who are in recent time like Shaykh bin Baz, rahimahullah, Shaykh bin Uthaymeen, Shaykh al-Albani, rahmatullah alayh, and some of the other mashayikh. These are the individuals who were known for maintaining the understanding of the early generations and propagating it in this fashion. Yet I am not calling anyone to label himself by any particular label. Okay, I'm just saying that this is the way. This is the methodology that we want to travel upon. And I will stop right there. I will not go beyond that. Why don't we suggest about music between Islamic lectures on radio? What do you suggest about music between Islamic lectures on radio? And new channels on TV which involve music as well, pictures moving. Does angels come in such case? As far as the Islamic lectures on radio, if we're able to, you usually don't have control of the radio station. If somebody gave you the choice that, okay, we're going to broadcast your lecture, do you want us to put any music? What do you think you're going to say? Of course not. But usually they don't give you that option. So if the case is as such, we say, if they play music anyways, let them put the lecture. Because maybe someone who is listening to music will listen to something beneficial and change his ways. And Allah will guide him from that. You see what I'm saying? Rather than saying, leave him alone misguided. Rather, we want everybody to be guided to Islam. But usually don't have a choice in these things. They are imposed upon you. Angels do not enter a place, of course, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being disobeyed. Angels don't even enter a place where there's a picture of an animated being, whether it is a human being or an animal with facial features. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-malaikatu la tadkhul bayt fih kalb aw sura." The angels do not enter a house which has a dog or an image. Now, if you have an image of a plant or the sun or the moon, ma fi mushkila. But if you have your graduation picture, with a big smile on your face, no angels for you there. No angels for you over there. And the scholars say, look man, a house with no angels is no good. That's a house with shayateen. Because you either have shayateen or you have angels. They don't sit with each other. So, sitting there listening to music on the TV, and what TV channel now, is free from that. Even Allah musta'an, the Islamic channels, the nasheed, that sounds nothing like the shi'r or the poetry of the companions, that you cannot even tell the difference now between a song or a nasheed, except that they call it Islamic nasheed. But if you heard it, say, what is this, man? This sounds like an old song that I used to listen back in my jahiliyyah. You know what I'm saying? So, be careful of these things. Allah musta'an, wallahi, it's a fitna. And the problem is, if I sit in here and try to tell you, to leave all these alone, people think that we're trying to push you away from the deen of Allah. And Allah knows that I want protection for myself and for you. So I tell you the truth, if you're able to live at that level, barakallah feek. Then you're just only strengthening your opportunity to enter Jannah without any punishment. If you're unable to give up some of these things, then, Allah musta'an, it's a lot of fitna. Music, women, openness, negligence, carelessness in the way people conduct themselves. It's a problem, calamity that has befallen upon the Muslims. So perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept that from us and grant us that wish that we really, sincerely, inshallah, wish from the bottoms of our heart. Allah musta'an. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.